Hello guys, this is Avcoor with some more Final Fantasy Ever Crisis content, and I would like to talk about the newest notice that we got, and this will lead into a video about Materia. But understand that this is a realistic view on Materia. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to make it seem easier than what it is because it's not easy. So let's get started. The reason why it's not easy is because of what information that we have been presented. So, of course, you all understand that we as community have complained, including myself, that the material system is utter garbage. It's utter garbage because you cannot guarantee certain stats on certain items. And for me, I put a lot of resources into cure material and I totally got screwed. And a lot of you guys got screwed too. So let's talk about what the devs said. Thank you for playing Final Fantasy Ever Crisis. This is a message from the management team. We have received reports that certain substats are not being applied in some synthesis. Upon your feedback, we conducted an investigation and found no issues with synthesis. I want you to remember this part because once we get down here, you're going to know this is a lie. Regarding material synthesis, there are some subsets that are difficult or impossible to obtain. Okay, this is a lie. However, the material that can be obtained through tutorials and story clears is material with stats that are not available to be granted via synthesis, which may be causing confusion amongst players. Please check this graph for a partial explanation of the current substat assignment within synthesis. So this is where I have a lot of complaints. So let's get started. First of all, it's divided into percentage and it's divided into additive quantities. Additive quantities are quantities like 20 plus magic attack. So when you equip this material, you get 20 plus points of magic attack, flat stats. Then the multiplicative properties are percentage-based stats, where it's your max magic attack stat multiplied by a certain percentage, and that percentage is then added to your overall stats. That's how it works. So let's look at the physical base material. As you can see, the discrepancies here are terrible. It's really terrible. So, first of all, HP is hard to get as a flat stat, but as a percentage stat, it's really easy on physical base material like Rune Blow, Fire Blow, Blizzard Blow, Thunder Blow, Water Blow, Arrow Blow, Quake Blow, and Breach. So, these stats are really hard to obtain as you're looking for physical attack, you're looking for HP, and you're looking for heal. On physical base material, you're looking for those three stats: physical attack, HP, and heal. The third one could be a dub stat. If it's magic attack, great. If it's not, it's okay. But those are the three stats you are looking for on physical base material. And it's hard to get the flat stat of HP, which is very disconcerting because if you can't get HP as a percentage stat, you would like it as a flat stat. So it's basically saying the only way you can get HP is a percentage stat, which is not bad. I like that. But it's easier to get a flat stat on physical attack than it is to get a percentage stat on physical attack. In physical attack, you want a percentage because you want to multiply your already stated amount. So say if you had a character with 3,000 physical attack, if you multiply that by 2%, you're getting more out of it than if you would have got a 30 points of flat physical attack. So that's just something to think about. And physical defense and magic defense as flat stats suck. So when you see those, they're basically duds. And it's even hard to get magic attack as a flat stat, which is really, really sus. It's really sus. And when you get to multiplicative stats, they're all hard, and you don't get physical and magic defense, which is really good. That's the only good part about this, that you don't get physical and magical defense, that you're always guaranteed in a percentage to get heal, magic attack, physical attack, and HP. which is only the 4 stats you want on your physical base materia. So we go down here, and so it's basically in reverse. Like, the flat stat of magic attack is easy to obtain. The percentage stat of HP is easy to obtain on magic base materia. But the same difficulties are still here. Like, on magical materia, you want magic attack, HP, heal, and if you can, you want physical attack. Those are a couple of things that you would want. And basically, this graph is saying that it is like near impossible for you to get those. So all of us who have been struggling trying to make guides in order to get materia have been wrong. The thing about getting materia, it is a grind. You literally have to roll the dice over and over again. And I'm going to show you some tips that will help you do that. But yet still, it is difficult. This chart is basically saying that it's difficult. So when we get down here, this is even more disheartening. So let's go back to Cure, what I was talking about earlier. So for Cure, you can't get any flat stat on HP. You can't get any flat stat on HP percentage. It's hard to get physical attack and it's hard to get magic attack, and you can't get heal. It's weird that you can't get heal as a percentage stat on Cure, which is something that you would want. On the Cure material, you would want heal, HP, then the third ranking stats would be magic attack or physical attack. But in this scenario, you really can't get it, period. In fact, for healing Asuna, for poison, fatigue, and fog, you can't even get HP or heal, which is absolutely insane. I don't really get that. There's some good news concerning that, but overall, this is terrible. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. The only good part is they don't cut you with physical defense and magic defense because they know that they're not relevant stats. There's no way in any volume or quantity that you can actually maximize these two stats in order to be useful to you. So you don't even worry about them. So this is what they say. With consideration for the current state of materia synthesis being so difficult to understand, and the synthesis system for healing materials such as Cure not currently functioning as desired, we have chosen to implement the following measures after careful consideration. Distribution of apologies regarding the confusion caused by the status attached to the healing materials such as Cure that can be obtained through tutorials and story clearances in relation to synthesis. Implementing changes to synthesis specification for healing material in the future updates. So we're going to talk about this in a couple of minutes, but this is important for some tips I'm going to provide for you. And they basically said they're going to give compensation. Let's go get this compensation, right? Let's get compensated for the stupidity of the devs. This is what you're getting. You're getting bookmarks, which is important, material boosters, which are important, and or this is super important, and synthesis, which is super important. So as you can see, I got a lot of that, and I have a lot of that, and I've been like grinding. So let's finish this off. And let's go to the first tip. And I don't think people talk about this enough, but they should. Let's go to solo content. Let's go to enhancement quest. And let's go to synthesis quest. The first tip I want to give you, in regardless to anything before we even talk about the synthesis process, once a week, you need to start farming this place. I don't understand why enough content creators don't talk about the process of getting materials as opposed to just, oh, this is what you do, this is what you do. You really need to look at this and grind. Once a week, at least, you need to grind this. I grind this twice. And sometimes we often forget that when it comes around, when you start getting bonuses for this, you really need to grind this. The most important tip that I'm going to give you concerning this is once a week, just dedicate yourself to at least doing 5 to 10 clears of each of these. And you'll always have material. Because when we get into this is actually 1,000. This stuff burns quickly. And for the strategy that you would want to implement, you really need a lot of this. More so the lesser material than the higher material. Alright? So just remember that, because these gems are important, these ores are important, and this is the easiest place for you to farm them at. So let's go into enhance, and we'll talk about the synthesis process in of itself. First of all, you don't really need to rush this thing. So you see shorten time. I can shorten the time, and I will. But you don't really need to rush this. If you see something that's a long timer, then you can rush it. But for the most part, let it go. Unless you're specifically targeting materia. So let's talk about that cure materia that I was talking about earlier. First of all, until the devs fix this, my advice is don't mess with it. Don't mess with cure right now. Because you're going to spend resources and you're not going to get the most out of this materia. Until they fix it, unless you really need it, don't bother with it. Don't bother with cure right now. So let's move on, because that's a helpful tip that I think everybody needs to understand. Don't mess with this material yet, because they really screwed it up. I'm so upset with them. I don't know what to do. So let's talk about what type of material that you want to build. So there's different colors, right? There's gold, there's blue, and there's purple, and there's green, and there's gray. Understand that these colors actually have a purpose, but not in the way that you would like it to be. It's not as specified as it should be. Let's go to this. Ruin Blow. This color means the potency of the stat increase is higher. Each color, each star, just says the volume of stat increase that you get on each of these is a little higher. When you get to like gray, it's low, like 1 to 2, 3 to 4, the potential 5 to 6, and like when you get to gold, it's like 7 to 8. You can actually on some gold hit like 8% on your stats, and that is something to really behold. I personally have only gotten 5. That's the highest I've went, and it was on my thunder material. The thing about this is, don't actually aim for super high stats. Aim for passable stats. So let me go into my elements real quick. You need to set certain parameters for what you'll burn yourself out building material. So here I got heal 5.2. For some reason I keep getting heal on my material, and my magic is 1.5 here. So this is 2 point. This is 2.7. My goal realistically is to hit 3. Because sometimes like I push myself and I don't get the stats that I want. But if you think about it, you need to set realistic parameters. Like if I am trying to build material, I would like for my magic and physical tech stats to be around 2.5 to 3. And slowly, if I get it there, then I'll start looking for higher stat material. Don't get rid of material when it's not like 5 or 6. Start building yourself a set of material, because you're going to have to clear content as you're building your material. So don't just get rid of it. Set some realistic parameters and goals for your material, and you won't be so disappointed. And when you do get that rare material, you'll be excited that you got it. Like I said, set realistic goals. You have to do that for yourself. For yourself. Not for anybody, because you play this game for yourself. So, let me get non-favorites. Oh, I don't have any non-favorites. Let's just do all then. So let's go into the stats when you create material. So sometimes with material you get 4 stats. Sometimes you get 3 stats. Sometimes you get 2 stats. And sometimes you get 1 stat. I think this is super important. It's just as important as the star rarity of your material. Why do I say that? Because it costs you potential in order to unlock potential. So let's just go through this. So I have HP and physical attack, but once I start raising this, okay, that unlocks a stat, right? So I unlock that stat. Every 2 levels, you will unlock a stat. Just keep that in mind. So there's potentially 5 times you can raise the stats of your materia. But notice that I'm not raising the stats of my materia doing this. I'm not increasing my stats doing this. I'm unlocking stats. And look at the increase. The increase is so small. It's not bad, but the increase is small. So here I have material with just one stat I need to unlock. So we can unlock that. So once we do that, one stat's unlocked. But notice that I didn't increase stats. So for the sake of this video, I'll actually only increase my stats twice. Keep that in mind when you're using materia, that this is optimum. No matter how bad this looks, you actually want 4 stats to be presented on your materia. That's why when you create materia, you're looking to hit 3 or 4 on your stars if you're seriously grinding your materia, because once you hit 4 stats, that means all you can do is increase your stats. When you have 1 stat, that means all you can do is unlock stats, and that lowers the overall potential of your materia. It kind of sucks that it works that way, but it does. It really blows. I don't like it. In fact, most of this material is leveled, except this. So let's look at this material. Okay, I'm just going to show you a trick. First of all, you don't have to level up your material all the way. Let's check and see what happens here when I add this. Alright, so I have arrow materia already. I look at these stats and I cancel. And I say, let me look at my arrow material, how I built it. And you can see that I have a lot of arrow material because I was doing the event. And now I compare my material to this material. And you'll see that certain potential is higher than other potentials. And I set my standards to having physical attack at least 2 or above. And I already know, looking at this material, my potential overall for stat gain is low. But when you look at the percentages, there's potential there. So I don't get rid of it. You have to evaluate your material and see what you want out of it. Like, of course, I built a lot of material in Win, and I'm not really satisfied with it. So I'll go and eliminate some of it, but not all of it. So let me go to Thunder for another tip that I want to give you before I close out this video. See this? Why didn't I get rid of this material? I know that the stats are not where I like them to be, but 0.52 magic attack is really good. Sometimes you can just use material for stat sticks. Just because I'm not going to use the material itself doesn't mean I should get rid of it. If you hit a stat like 5.2 or something like that, my advice is you keep that material because you could use it as a stat stick. Don't get rid of it. Look at your material, see what it offers you, and then you make your decision. You'll find that certain material may be good and certain material may be bad. But not all material is bad, and not all material that looks bad is bad. It's just you have to make the decision concerning your material and how you want to do it. So we'll go through how to synthesize material and we'll end it. So let's get out of here. Alright, let's go to synthesis. We'll go through and rush 1. and we'll get rid of it. All right, we got Blizzard. That's just, oh wow, that's garbage stats. Anyway, so two things before we end it. There's elemental materia, and there's non-elemental materia, I guess, which is ruin materia. Ruin materia actually spawns fast. The thing about this materia is you use this materia to level up other materia. So one slot should always be dedicated to farming this materia, so you can just have resources to blow on materia that you actually like. So just keep that in mind. So let's go back here, and let's say I want to build lightning materia. Say I want to build lightning blow. I'm a masochist. Excuse me, because it never seems to go right. How do I go about getting this around 3? I don't want to exhaust these. I don't want to use these, right? So this is what you do. It will always take 7 of your lesser materia. That's why in the first part of the video, I think it's important that you consistently farm once a week the synthesis stages, because all it takes is 7 of this. And I have found I have gotten some rare materia out of the 7 more than I got out of the 4 or 5. Sometimes this actually produces gold materia. But notice that you are guaranteed this way to have 2 substats. You're guaranteed. And you can endlessly do this and generate materia for yourself. So that's why I stress that you apply yourself 1 day out of the week to do synthesis. Farming the synthesis, I think, is more important than any tip that any content creator can give you. Because if you have enough resources, it won't matter. You'll eventually create a good piece of material. But anyways, if you like my content, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I'll get back to you. Have a great day, and goodbye.